Everything that I am saying and doing is an offering. So if at any point something does not feel right for you in your body, or you'd like to move into a different position, or you just need a break, that is 100% good, acceptable, like more than good. And some things that might look like taking a little break if you need it might be like belly down, uh, or on your back, or maybe coming up against a wall with your legs up the wall. So just really try to listen in and follow your own lead. Okay, let's begin. We'll begin in a comfortable seated position. Your legs might be crossed. You might want to notice which foot you have in front. They could be more open than this. They could be slightly in. So any way that feels good. If you have your little towel rolls or washcloth rolls and your knees are maybe a little bit up here, you might do something like this where you get a little bit of comfort there with the knees. Anything that you can do to make yourself more relaxed, more comfortable is encouraged. All right. So as we begin to sit, you might notice that if you lean forward, you lean back, you kind of come into a place of center. You may notice these two bones on the bottom touching the ground or the earth. It might feel nice to close your eyes. If that is the case, go ahead and have a soft closed eyes. And if not, just a gaze, soft gaze looking downward. So we will just arrive here together in this moment. Just being present with our bodies and our breath. Notice your spine. I invite you to lift your crown toward the sky a little bit more. Maybe a slight tuck of the chin. I also invite you to notice where your shoulders are. Are they a little bit forward? If so, bring them back so they feel right over your hips. You might leave your hands right here on your knees, or it might feel nice to put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Start to notice the breath. I invite you to take a gentle breath in, noticing where the breath is coming into, following your breath to the top. And then slowly, gently letting the breath out. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth or through the nose. But when we breathe in through our nose, it helps calm our nervous system. So also noticing as you breathe in, if your belly is filling with breath or your diaphragm. Just a few more rounds, maybe to the count of 3. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. Breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe you open the mouth and let a little ha sound come out. Last one. Release your hands, possibly to your knees if that feels good, or in your lap. Just notice what feels best in your body. And then I invite you to keep that slow breath moving in and out as we move through the rest of our practice. So continue the breathing in, and on the breath out, dropping the chin to the chest, really noticing how that feels. Is there any more relaxed your head might get as it falls forward? And then we'll start to roll the neck right and left, breathing in to one side, breathing out the chin to chest, breathing in, breathing out. Yoga connects movement with breath, and sometimes when we get to this place, the thoughts, the monkey mind chatter lessens. Staying present with your breath and the movement. Last time to the other side. Chin to chest, we'll finish here. It might feel nice to look forward as you draw your shoulders up towards your ears, pressing your palms into your lap. Exhale, maybe an open mouth. Try that again. Shoulders come up and around. So I invite you to keep these shoulder circles going. Breathing in and breathing out and circling the shoulders forward, up and back. Notice what you're feeling in the shoulders. I'm feeling some crunchy things going on. We tend to carry some stress in this area, so just keep the movement flowing a couple more times. And stay connected with the breath if that feels okay for you and your body. Let's switch directions now. Shoulders come forward and back. Forward and back. Breathing in. Breathing out. Keep going if that feels okay for you. Just kind of getting in there and noticing. And then when you're ready, we'll come to stillness. Back to the breath. Let's let the arms rise up if that feels good. I invite your arms to flow up. Exhale, let the palms float down in front. Inhale, let the arms flow up. Exhale, see what it feels like. Notice as you bring the palms down. I invite you to do this one more time if that feels good in your body. Big breath in. Exhale. Palms float down. Just notice what you feel as your palms float over and down. Let the arms float up again if that feels good for you. And then we'll circle the wrists in one direction, noticing the fingers. You might notice what it feels like to spread the fingers wide or make a fist. Let's switch directions if that feels good for you. It feels different with the wrists, with the fist closed, with the hands open. So just getting in to the wrists and fingers, make a fist. Open wide and press the palms out, relaxing the shoulders. I like to kind of move my shoulders back and forth down for a minute. Notice now, I invite you to spread your fingers and press their fingers toward your ears. Notice what you're feeling throughout the arms, the forearms. You might wiggle your fingers around. It can be an intense sensation. So usually in yoga, we want to notice intensity. But if we feel any sharp shooting, pinching pain, that's our body's way of telling us to back off. So coming back to a fist, circling one more time in each direction, and then relaxing the hands back down. Sitting up tall, possibly dropping the chin to chest one more time. Relaxing, letting the shoulders get heavy, letting the whole front body start to round. I invite you to sit up tall and then let your heart space open up toward the sky. So let's exaggerate that. Leaning back, rounding the spine. Breathing in, coming forward, even forward onto the pelvis, you might notice. Back. Up to neutral. I invite you to take the hands behind you. Let's stretch our legs out for a moment here before we go any further. That might feel nice for you to bounce out the knees. Just open up the backs of the legs. And as we come back to seated for just one more pose or two, notice which foot you tend to bring in and switch them. So the other one's in front, right? The funny one. You might do that thing again if it feels good to lean forward and back and just notice where center is for you. I invite you to bring your palms above your head, palms together at first, and then turn the palms out and touch the inside of the palms toward one another. It might feel nice to interlace the fingers. Breathing in. As you exhale, bend the elbows gently. Let the wrist hover over the head. I invite you to notice what it feels like to bring the elbows back a little bit toward the ears. Relaxing the shoulders. Maybe noticing what you feel in the space between your neck and shoulders. Straightening the arms and twisting to the left. So the right palm is in front on the left knee, and the left hand is behind you like a kickstand. And what you might notice is as you press into your left fingertips, you can ground your right hip a little bit more. So I invite you to notice what it feels like, grounding, ungrounding. And breathing in, sitting up nice and tall. Look towards your right. And I invite you to drop your right ear to your right shoulder. You might be noticing a lot of intensity here. You might be asking for a little bit more. So just dropping out of the thinking mind. It might feel nice to roll the neck, just gentle movements, or you might like stillness. If you found one spot along that path where it really felt like it was opening up some space in a tight spot, you can hold that there possibly if that feels good for you. And breathe a nice smooth breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now I invite you to turn your gaze down towards your right armpit and just notice where the stretch changed, if it did at all, and if there's somewhere here along this space that you feel an opening. I do a lot of neck and shoulder opening at the beginning here to help relax, relieve stress, and restore. Restorative yoga to restore the system. Inhale, gently look forward, lift the right arm up, come out of the twist. Take the hand just ever so gently on the head. And I invite you to just tilt your right ear to your right shoulder again. The left arm might stay out with the palm facing forward. Notice where it feels down, what you notice as you bring the palm down or up, and then see if you might like to explore making little circles, little tiny circles going forward, little tiny circles toward the back. So really just exploring and noticing the space right here. Beautiful. I invite you to inhale the right arm up and exhale, gentle hinge over. As you press into your left palm again, I invite you to notice that right hip. Is the right hip coming up? And if you use your energy through your left hand, can you press it back down toward the ground a little more? And here it might feel nice to stretch your arms straight. It might feel nice to let your head and neck and arm be soft. Sometimes people like movement here, so it might feel nice to explore space with this arm. So lots of options, just tuning into what your body's asking for now. All right. We'll inhale back up. And I invite you for one gentle fold forward. Now, that fold forward could be just right here. A gentle fold might feel like a lot. It might be a little bit deeper. Meet yourself at the place you feel your first stretch, the first little bit of intensity, and pause there. Smooth out the breath. We'll inhale up. Let's take the legs in front, kick them out, give them a little shake before we do the other side. Again, you might want to crisscross the other leg, and if the legs need a break from the crisscross position, you can also just have them extended out right now. You could be sitting on your knees. If your legs are extended in front, you could have a little soft rolled towel underneath, a little rolled towel under the knees to just soften that. You could also have a little rise under your bottom. So take a minute if you need to rearrange before we do the other side. And notice here that goofy hand again, because we tend to always put the same foot in front or hand in front as we interlace. I invite you to inhale the arms up, turn the palms out, and this is the tricky part. You tend to put the same palm to palm, so switch that palm to palm, the inner palms facing one another. Maybe you let the fingers lace together, and then a gentle bend in the arm, in the elbows here. I really invite you to smooth, long breath in through the nose. Open the mouth. You might like to release the hands, this time twisting to the right. That means the left hand on the right knee, right hand behind you, sitting up nice and tall. Invite you to notice that left hip again. And then ever so slightly turning your head back towards center and dropping the left ear to the left shoulder. I notice a deep stretch in what's called the trap. These muscles where tension is stored. So again, notice, does your body want stillness? Finding that right spot, using the breath to manipulate the stretch. With each exhale, I invite you to notice if there's a little relax. And if there's not, that is okay too. We welcome all experiences here on the mat. If you like movement, you might gently explore moving the neck around. And then lastly, we'll turn the gaze. I invite you to look down toward your left armpit. Keep those fingertips on the ground behind you. I invite you to notice any sensations. Staying with the breath. Inhale. We'll allow the left arm to very gently relax on the head as your left ear tilts toward your left shoulder. The right palm could face forward if that feels good for you. And the little circles on this side. If you drop the hand lower to the floor, maybe you might notice a different sensation or stretch. So I invite you to explore that as we switch the shape of the circle going forward and back. Place the right hand on the floor and arch over if that feels good in your body. Again, energy straight, lengthening, softening, relaxing, moving this arm, possibly noticing anything. You might try one and say, oh, I'm not feeling this, I like this. So knowing what your body is suggesting is a really beautiful knowing, a beautiful inner knowing. Inhale up. Exhale. Invite you to bring hands behind you and stretch out these legs. Spreading the toes might feel nice. Bobbing the knees up and down might feel nice. We're gonna come to hands and knees if that feels good in your body. We won't be here too long, but if you do prefer to have some extra cushioning here underneath the knees, you might place a nice towel or blanket right here for a moment. Maybe notice now if your knees are in line with the hips and if the shoulder is in line with the wrists. Sometimes we come out a little far, so we're going to bring it right under the shoulder if that feels good for your body. Now, I invite you to let your head become heavy. Maybe you might like to shake it out, no or yes. Inhaling, I invite you to let your belly get soft and drop to the ground as you look up. On the exhale, it's a rounding, maybe pressing down into the earth, into the floor with the fingertips, really rounding. It might feel nice to shift your hips. 2 more breaths, breathing in, becoming soft in the belly, looking up. Maybe an open mouth exhale here even as you round and tuck, press into the fingertips. It could feel nice to shimmy the shoulders and the hips. Last one, breathing in. Open up. Let's open up the back of the hamstrings a little bit more for a moment. Spreading the toes and pressing them onto the ground. This might be enough of a toe stretch, noticing it in the inside of the arch of the foot. You can always press into it more or less. You could also press into the opposite toes at the same time. Just opening the foot and the backs of the legs, which are the hamstring muscles. Notice what it feels like to lift the leg up for a moment. Circle the ankle around. And bring it back down. Other side, I invite you to take the left leg behind you. Spread the toes, press into the foot as little or as much as you want. The more you press the heel back, the more opening in the back of the leg. You can do both toes for extra toe stretch. And while you're here, if you're noticing the wrist, see if you can press down into the fingertips. Take a little stress off the wrist. We'll lift the leg up for a moment and circle the ankle in one direction and the other direction. Drop that knee back down. I invite you to round the spine as you breathe in and out. All right, coming back forward onto our bottoms, moving into a wide-legged forward fold. So here it might be nice to have some props. You might like to have a little lift under your bottom, folded blanket or pillow. And you might like to have some towel rolls under the knees. So a wide-legged forward fold might look like this. It might be a little wider. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters what it feels like for you and your body and where you're noticing stretch. So if it feels a little difficult to even sit up straight in a wide-legged forward fold, then definitely get some rise. This could be a little more than what you need, but something, and I'll demonstrate with this, underneath the bottom that is going to help your pelvis kind of roll forward, right? So we're gonna stay here in this fold for a minute or so. And a couple other options is noticing your edge. So maybe even right here as you lean forward, maybe this is feeling like enough. In which case it might feel nice to relax. So relaxing might look like stacking many pillows or blankets, or if you have blocks, And it might be just relaxing your forehead down so that you can soften your spine. And this is the place where the monkey mind chatter, these moments of stillness, where that might happen. One tool that you might use is counting your breath. As you count your breath, breathing in, that might help keep your focus there. You might also like to use words with your breath. I'm breathing in. I open to this moment. I am breathing out. I let go. So those are just a couple little tools for mindfulness, helping us stay in the moment. Thoughts will come and thoughts will go, and just notice them and allow your breath to come back. You may notice after a minute or so that everything has relaxed. And if that is so, then you can always come a little deeper. And if you went too deep to begin with, and it was kind of uncomfortable from the start, then back out a little bit. Yeah. All right. Slowly come on out of this restorative pose. Very gently, maybe take one leg in and gently move the other leg in. Hands behind you. Shake out the legs. Lift the heart. This is a counter pose, so you might notice a lot. If this doesn't feel good, then you might notice what it feels like instead to kind of sink down into the shoulders and let them squeeze up towards your ears. It's just a different experience in the neck and shoulders and back. Okay. Let's move from here onto our backs for a little bit. So as we roll down onto our backs, have near you still a pillow or some blocks. We can practice here rolling down slowly and smoothly, or we can get onto our backs any way that feels good in your body. So palms will be out if you want to try it this way. Otherwise, any way that feels good for you. And rolling down. When you arrive here, it might feel nice to just take a moment to feel the ground underneath your body. Breathe. Notice what it feels like to bring the knees into the chest, maybe. You might like to rock a little bit right and left. Noticing any experience, sensation in the low back. And from here, let's keep the right foot on the floor and cross the left ankle over the knee. So you're set up like this. And I invite you to reach your left hand through this little space you've created as you bring your right knee into your chest And you can hold the back of the right leg. And if that is a little challenging, you can also take a strap or a tie or any piece of cloth and wrap it around the back of this leg and hold on to it this way. So a couple options here, maybe noticing some sensation or stretch in the left hip. Again, do you like stillness? Do you like a little motion? As you move, you might open up some spaces, some connective tissue. Stillness, focusing on the breath, really breathing in to that place where you feel a little intensity. Beautiful. Let's place the right foot on the floor. I invite you to let the right leg slightly open out as you use your left hand to extend the left leg out. So just very gently using the hands as props. Here's an option again as well. Do you like stillness? Would you like to bend the left knee in, open the leg out, extending it open and closed a few times, or circling that left ankle by chance? Stay with the breath. And on the next inhale, let's bring the left leg straight up into the air and hold on to it anywhere you possibly can. And here again, a strap or a tie might feel nice. Spread the toes and press through the heel for a moment. We're going to allow the right leg to slide straight if that feels okay in your body. And as you do that, you can allow the left knee to bend in toward the chest. On the next exhale, we're going to roll onto the right side. I always like to scooch my hips to the left a little bit before I roll. And you might like to have your blocks or pillows to catch your left knee. The arms might extend outward. You might enjoy looking all the way to the left, would be a full expression of the pose. And in this space, just breathing into the low belly and noticing any sensation. And you could also just let the breath go and just have the breath moving naturally without thinking about it too much. Let's come on to the back, very gently and slowly, bringing the knees back into the chest, realigning the spine. This might feel nice. It might feel nice for you to lift your head. Relaxing down, I invite you for the other side. Before we finish up, crossing the right ankle over the left knee. Reaching through with your right hand, the space that you've created. maybe grabbing behind the knee, maybe using a strap or a tie. And let's just take our own version of this. It could be the stillness, the rocking. From here, I'll invite you to place the left foot back on the ground. Using your right hand as a prop, letting the right leg open out to the side, holding it up. Letting the left knee maybe open up gently. Just noticing if this feels okay for you. Moving into any shape if it doesn't. Again, stillness. Maybe flexing the foot. Movement might look like bending and straightening. Just notice what your body's asking for. And if it's asking for something completely different than this, then that's okay too. I didn't realize you all were going to be seeing my feet, the bottoms of my feet so clearly. All right, let's bring the leg in and up. So the right leg's extended toward the sky. Opening along the back of the knee, just one more time, holding on here. Flexing through the foot. Circling the ankle, spreading the toes. And then we'll let the left leg slide straight. And bend the right knee in toward the chest. On your exhale, roll to the left. Use your prop underneath the left knee, if that feels good for you. Sometimes it feels really nice to let it rest on a pillow and even hug another pillow and come completely into the twist. Sometimes it feels nice to open up the arms wide, the gaze all the way right. So a couple options here. 3 to 5 more breaths. And if the mind starts to wander, it's okay. Maybe saying the words that resonated with you with the breath. Or just noticing the thoughts, like clouds passing in the sky, and letting them move on. When you get the message that it's time to come back onto the back, go ahead and do so. It might feel nice to bring the knees into the chest. I invite you to make any movements that feel good. Could be rocking the knees right and left. And then slowly make your way flat onto your back. Final pose, Shavasana. stay here for several minutes. Shavasana is a time where we can just let go of the breath, all the beautiful stretching, surrendering is incorporated into this final resting pose, letting your muscles and your body and your mind incorporate everything together. Maybe just notice your face and your eyelids, your teeth and your tongue, let your jaw be soft. I invite you to scan down the rest of your body to your shoulders. Can you allow them to soften any amount more? Scan down your spine to your low back and your belly. Might they soften a little bit more? Down your legs to your knees, toes, complete body surrender. So if this is just feeling amazing and you would like to extend your final resting pose, then stay right where you are and just allow yourself to be. If you would like to sit up, rolling onto your side, taking your time, that's an option too. Either way, I'd like to thank you all for being here today with me and sharing this practice.